What up, what up, what's going down? Shammy D here with another edition of The Bundle! Listen, you know what's going on here. We're bringing you the best and brightest mind that's going to hit you with the latest and greatest when it comes to SaaS and pricing. So let me hand it off to the man of the hour. Give it up, Marcos! What's happening, fam?
Shammy D, always bringing that heat, man. I love it. I love it. You keep it official. Thanks for opening up and welcome everyone to this episode of The Bundle. I'm Marcos Rivera, author, founder, and CEO of Pricing.io, and we're going to have some fun today. So what we do here at The Bundle is we have a gathering, a collection of the smartest folks who think about B2B pricing, who do it, who drive it, and they're going to bring their biggest hot takes on all the questions we have around pricing and packaging. And we're going to do it in a fun way with a twist. So first off, we have the principal of value creation at 5 Elms Capital, right? So we have someone who has that portfolio perspective. She's also the former director of strategy at LogicGate and focused a lot on M&A transactions at William Blair Investment Banking. Today with The Bundle, we have Janek. So appropriate. Lauren, welcome to The Bundle.
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me, Marcos.
No, I love it. Since the first day I met you, you've been super bright, and your job of creating value across a bunch of companies gives you crazy insights and crazy pattern recognition. And I have a soft spot for it because that used to be my job back when I was at Vista. So I know very much what you go through. Thanks for being here and lending that knowledge for us here today. But we also have another guest on The Bundle here. He's the VP of Marketing at ServiceTrade, a fast-growing SaaS company. He's also a former project manager at Dunwell. But in addition to that, is a co-organizer for the nonprofit Ride for a Reason. So let's give it up for Shawn Mims. We could not resist, Shawn. It's your fault. It's your fault for having this going, man. No, welcome to The Bundle today, Shawn, man. And I'm inviting you because you roll up those sleeves and you actually are smack in the middle of pricing changes at your company. You've done it. You've seen what works, what doesn't work. And I'm super happy to have your realistic point of view on today, man.
So happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you for letting me join you on The Bundle. Very excited about this.
Oh, man. We are in for a treat for you guys. All right. So let me explain a little bit more around the flow of the show, and then we're going to get going. All right. So what we're going to play today is a game called the Pricing Pyramid. We have 6 different topics or themes in B2B SaaS pricing, and we're going to break down the ones that we select. But each theme is hidden behind a song, actually a 90s hip hop song. So I'm going to introduce these, and then we're going to break these down based on the ones you want to talk about. All right. So first one is First of the Month. Next one is Chief Rocka. The next one is Hi, my name is. Then we have OPP. Mama Said Knock You Out. And I got AI on it. A little bit of wordplay on that last one, right? So those are going to be our theme songs, and we're going to pick the one that you want to talk about, and we're going to dissect and jump into that together. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Sounds great. You guys are ready to do this? Now, here's the thing. We got to pick who goes first. And I like to try to keep it fair, try to keep it impartial, right? So what I'm going to do is play a quick, short game called the birthday game. All right. So you're going to give me the month you were born, and then we're going to see who's closest to mine. And the closest one wins and gets to go first. In the event of a tie, we'll ask for the day. You guys ready to do this? All right, let's do it. So, Shawn, what month were you born?
April.
Okay. Now, Lauren, what month were you born?
July.
Wow. I am a July baby as well. So, Lauren, you get to go first.
I just had a feeling, Marcos, that you had to be either in Leo season with me or very, very close to it.
We get along. We definitely connect. I love that. So now you get first dibs. You get to pick a theme amongst these 6. Let's pick a theme and let's dive in and get started. What would you like?
Awesome. This is tough on where to start, but maybe let's go Chief Rocka.
Ooh, I like it.
Ooh.
I like it. All right, let's reveal the question behind Beef Raka. Who should really own pricing in a SaaS business? And I got emphasis on really, guys. Everybody always cops out on this one. Oh, different groups can own it and it depends and it's okay. But I want to get a little bit of controversy going on here. I want us to take a stand. Who should really own pricing in a SaaS business today? Lauren, what's your hot take on that? Who should own it?
I'll start with a lukewarm take, which is that I think the right answer is truly different for different SaaS companies, that the one team is not the answer in every single situation. But I always put three characteristics here. Someone who can be data driven, who can be unbiased, and is used to working cross-functionally. I think the issue with owning pricing is a lot of people want to have a say and no one wants to be the real owner. And so where I see pricing being most successfully owned is typically those teams like finance, strategy or operations, or product, right? Where they're kind of seeing a fair amount of the business. And with each of our portfolio companies, I'm always telling them, you don't just need to define who your owner is, you need to define who that group who has a say is. So obviously sales, marketing, CS, services, obviously all dependent on the business, are going to get into that decision-making group. But who's the kind of quarterback that can kind of steer through? A lot of times it's picking up grunt work, which is often why I was the owner of pricing at Logicate, sitting as our strategy team. And that was because no one else, I think, wanted it. But it also worked because I could bring everyone in the room together.
All right, it is a team sport, and I absolutely agree. What does Shawn think about this? Being somebody who's like in it and has to has to drive it forward. Shawn, you gotta have an opinion on this, man.
So I've got the answer. 100% sales. No,
Oh,
no, 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 no. Don't do that. Terrible idea.
the opposite. Yes.
Okay, so I own this at ServiceTrade, but I have an unfair advantage there, which will lead us to what I think is the correct answer. I was the first product manager, and I have run both marketing and product ServiceTrade leading up to around 2020 or 2021. So I know the ins and outs of the product from a product perspective. I also just happen to do some marketing too and product marketing. So pretty obvious choice in our organization. Oh, I ran RevOps too for a while in business analytics. So all that tucked in nicely. So I was able to dig into the data, do all of the cool stuff that you need to do to figure out pricing. So I think the real answer, and this can vary by size, startup to scale up or full scale. But I think generally there's going to be some collaboration between product owning packaging and fundamentally understanding, the jobs to be done, the critical components to build the packages in a way that are going to, if it's appropriate to your go-to-market strategy, get in the door and then grow the customer or have the modules. They're going to understand those pieces and should understand the market, where product marketing is ultimately responsible for the market intelligence, the external market intelligence, and some internal kind of customer intelligence to feed specifics on price points and help product make good packaging decisions. So I think it's a collab. I think ultimately in a strong product-led organization, product takes the lead. I think if it's not a full-blown product-led organization, it can sit in kind of full ownership, maybe in product marketing, but it's going to be between those two and bringing in lots of other folks from the rest of the organization, like we've discussed.
Got it. Got it. So that's not a full cop out. You actually did pretty good there, I thought. You kind of lean in there. But Lauren, how do you feel? Because what I heard from him is that he's a unicorn and unicorns should own pricing. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think, yes, Marcos, I think every company needs a Shawn that understands RevOps, product, marketing, et cetera. And I think that's really the key, is like you need those individuals or those teams who can see those multiple perspectives. I think Shawn is completely right. Leading from a product perspective, having that ownership there really makes sense. A lot of our organizations, our portfolio companies are normally 2 to 20 in ARR. So at that stage where product marketing might not be built out yet. So where we see ownership might be harder to have within one function. It's a little bit of who's got the time, the ownership, and the insights to kind of dedicate to it. But I think Shawn is completely right as we get to that maturity scale where this needs to sit.
Yeah.
And I'll pile on to that, Lauren. I'm sure y'all see this in the range that y'all invest. What I've seen in kind of my network, it's not uncommon for smaller companies to kind of not be as product led, right? There's a leader with a vision who's driving product strategy, and product is a bit more, R&D is a bit more just feature oriented and get out the door, because that kind of founder has that product vision, and usually is a subject matter expert from the market or has some experience there. And then as you get up to 10 million, 15, 20 million, that transformation to product led for scale up starts to happen. And so it's going to depend there on where that knowledge sits.
Totally. That's a great point.
Yeah, it does depend. That's the exact answer I don't want, but it's the real answer. It's the real answer, right? I mean, think about it like this, right? It depends on maturity of the company, what stage they're in, right? It depends on complexity, how many products you have, the actual level of maturity within the departments themselves. I've seen product management own pricing spectacularly and deliver. And yes, I am biased because my roots are in product management, but I've also seen product management own it and completely flush it down the toilet, completely, right? And so I don't think there is that singular true owner. I feel like the ones closest to value, the ones that understand the data, and the ones who can operate and collaborate cross-functionally, kind of very similar to what you said, Lauren, in the beginning, kind of makes it work. And that person could be different company to company and stage to stage, right? But let me flip it around to the other angle, which is who should absolutely positively not own pricing, because you planted the seed already, Shawn, right? But who should absolutely not own pricing in an organization, and why?
I joked about it earlier. I don't think sales should own it. I think there are some circumstances where that may make sense, where, to the point that you made, Marcos, and the point that you made, Lauren, is there are some individuals who will understand value, and those that understand value might work out. But generally speaking, I think, especially in a smaller size company, sales is going to be pretty focused on just, volume and price point, and thinking, hey, if we had a lower price point, we could sell more, and especially in a transactional sale versus an enterprise sale. So I would recommend against having it owned by sales or a marketing organization that isn't fully fleshed out with product marketing in that org.
What do you think, Lauren?
I completely agree with Shawn. I think it just comes down to a little bit of checks and balances, and also how you're aligning incentives at the org, right? If I'm trying to hit a quota, I'm probably going to change pricing to whatever I think is going to help me do that. That might not be what pricing makes sense as we think about the full kind of customer journey. Are we focused on that land? Are we a land and expand model? Are we sell everything all at once? And I think especially as 2024 has screamed in shining lights, retention. Sales, unless they are owning the expansion motion too, I think it's really hard to say that they have necessarily the full visibility into what pricing model works for our customers long-term, not just for prospects.
That's a solid point too. I mean, if you think about it, you really want sales to care about the sale, and but they're not going to care about the system. And when I think of pricing, I think of that system, that life cycle. How do you make it better? Again, cross products, cross functions, all those key things. And sales really is dialed in on what they really need to do, which is sell, right? At the end of the day, which does create really, I think, unhealthy dynamics all around. So I am going to stamp and be a third in agreement on this one, unanimous. We shouldn't have sales running and owning pricing. I view them, though, as a big, important stakeholder in pricing, because they have to go out and use it to win and get customers in the door. But as far as owning it, I think a little bit of distance is actually good for them. And they can claim ignorance and they can say, hey, you know what, this is not my policy, and use that as a way to work and angle them into trying to win. So for me, sales is a big no. And the big yes, I didn't hear product. I didn't hear product marketing. I didn't hear ops. I heard closest to data, run something cross-functionally, understands the value. And that person can sit, especially at different stages of the company, can sit in different roles. RevOps manager, product marketing manager, director of product management, wherever that is. And that person can be different. So fine, the skills, not necessarily the role, is kind of what I'm hearing from you guys. That's my big takeaway for this one. You guys are good at this. You guys are good. Any last big words of wisdom before we then move on to the next question? Shawn, I see you thinking, man.
Yeah, depending on scale, they better have some project management chops and
Yes.
cross collaborative project management chops, because that will go sideways real fast.
Yeah, moving parts all over the place. Lauren, I see you nodding. What do you think?
Yes. And I would say I'm always talking about with our companies, what do we even mean by pricing and packaging? Like, I think of it like a bullseye. Core, obviously, what is our price? Layer in our packaging, then all of the other things related to that, contracting, discounting, how we're positioning pricing in our sales materials or on our website, having owners that have visibility into those items, and also have a stake in those things going right? That goes back to the sales point. Sales isn't probably going to be your number one advocate for implementing contracting that makes their sale a little bit harder, but it's important to protect us as we're thinking about where we're going or where we might take pricing in the future. So having someone who has enough skin in the game, but understands kind of all the layers that can come in.
Solid advice.